Well, hey, welcome everybody to our January 2026 meeting for the GEG Ohio, the Google Educator Group of Ohio. Thank you so much for joining me today, whether you're watching live or if you're watching a recording later. Either way, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be a part of this. A little bit of housekeeping before we dive right into the meeting. So first of all, quick introduction. Hi, my name is Eric Kurtz. I'm an educator here in Northeast Ohio. I work for the Stark County Educational Service Center, specifically for Spark, the Information Technology Center there. We support about 40 school districts up in the Northeast Ohio area. I do have other folks who on occasion can join me. At the moment, I'm flying solo at the moment. We may have some other leaders join throughout the session based upon their schedule and availability. But if it's just me, that's okay. I will do my best to present the information and keep an eye on all of the amazing comments in the chat. Speaking of which, as I've just introduced myself, please do the same. And I am seeing a lot of people saying hello in the chat, so please do that. That's great. Let us know where you're from. I see we've got, as I'm scrolling down through here, we've got New York, we've got Indiana, New Jersey, and of course, right here in Ohio, Matt Mays, my colleague. Thanks for being here, Matt. As always, that's fantastic. So yeah, if you get a moment, please feel free to say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're from and what you do and things like that. So while you're getting settled in here, a little overview of what we're in for here today. This is a monthly meeting, typically monthly meeting of GEG Ohio, the Google Educator Group of Ohio, where what we do is we try to cover everything new in Google from the last month since our last meeting. Now, our last meeting was actually mid-December, so this one's about a month and a half that we're covering. But we cover updates, we cover, anything new that Google's released. We also talk about some tips and tricks, some neat ways to use Google tools in your schools. Now, I know this is GEG Ohio, and we do a little bit more of an Ohio focus, of course, because of that. But no matter where you're from, you are welcome to join us as long as you have an interest in using Google in education. We're so happy that you are here with us. All right. With that said, probably the most important thing at this point is making sure everybody is in our shared document. My guess is you are, but if for any reason you're not, this is our shared document that we have. And tell you what, I'll drop the link into the chat in case somebody is watching but hasn't had a chance to pull up. Maybe I will. Let's see, there it is. Okay, I'll get that in the chat there. And so that is popping up in the chat. For anybody else, though, if you're not in the chat, do note we have a website at bit.ly/GEG Ohio, and you'll find the agenda there as well. You can always get to it there. So if I pop on over to that link, that gets me to GEG Ohio. There's a monthly meetings section there. If you go in there and scroll on down, that's where you'll find all of the meetings. So here's today's meeting, January 29th, and there is the agenda link for our meeting for today. You can also catch the older ones. If you want to go back and see some previous ones, the recordings of the videos are there as well. All right, very good. Well, with that said, let me give you just a really brief overview of what you're going to see in this document here. We have already done the welcomes and intros there. I will run through a few more things, important links and group updates and upcoming events. This is one area where if you have something to add to the document, this would be fantastic. This is an editable document. You are allowed to add to it. So if you know of an upcoming event that I don't have on the list, put it on there. Another area that I would say would be really good for you guys to contribute to is the show and tell section. If you scroll on down to the bottom of that, there's a GEG community show and tell. So do you have something cool to share? Is there a really neat project you've been working on, or a neat extension you've come across, or another new AI tool or use that you want to share? Whatever it is, drop it in the community show and tell. And lastly, there is a Q&A tab as well. If you've got a question that you'd like to have the group address, drop it in there. If I have an answer, great, but maybe somebody else who's watching has an answer and they can contribute as well. All right. So with all of that said, I am going to turn off our banner here. We don't need that up anymore. And I am also going to disappear off the side of the screen here so you can just see, oh, here we go. So you can just see what's on the screen a little bit easier there. I'm still here and I'll come back. Oh, and again, thanks again to everybody who's been saying hi in the chat. I just wanted to acknowledge that once more. We've got Connecticut. We've got several Ohio's, Delaware City Schools in Pickerington. That's fantastic. Here's a South Carolina. We got a Rhode Island. Hey, it's Pete from Rhode Island. Oh, so good to see you, Pete. We got Illinois, some more Ohio here, Fresno, California, Syracuse, New York. Oh my gosh. Fantastic. So wonderful to see so many people joining us here today. Looking forward to learning with you. All right, well, let's get on into it. So we've done the welcome and introduction. Under important links, the only thing I'm really going to point out here is the sign-in form. If you've been here before, you know what this is. This is just a simple Google form that allows me to report the number of people who attend our meetings. I do not share your email address or anything like that. The only reason I'm collecting the email address is I do send out a PDF afterwards with your contact hours for having been a part of this meeting. So you can fill that out if you're here live, or if you watch the recording later, that's fine as well. So that's what I use the email address for. Other than that, really, it is really just numbers. I do have a form that I send to Google that lets them know how many people attended each of our meetings. So even if you don't want that PDF, you can certainly still fill out the form so that you count yourself among those who were part of the meeting. Next up, there's a tab called Group Updates. Just want to let you know we do have a Google group that you can join. This is a group so you can communicate in between the meetings. Do you have a question that you want to reach out to people and ask about, or share something helpful? This is a great group to do that in. At the moment, I think we've got 1,744 members. So yes, lots and lots and lots of people in there. This is a fantastic way to stay plugged in between our meetings. Next up, upcoming events. Quite a few that we've got on the list here. Some of them are a little bit more local, but I see we've got the IdeaCon one coming. I've been at IdeaCon before. It's a fantastic conference that's coming up in February. TCEA just about ready to kick off here in a couple of days in Texas. I've been there as well. That's a great one. Locally, though, Ohio, we've got OETC coming up February 10th through 12th. I'm excited to see hopefully a lot of folks at that one. I will be, of course, at OETC. I did want to remind you, we do have a sign-up sheet here if you're going to be going to OETC this year. And if you don't mind, if you've got a spare moment here or there, we have a booth. We have a GEG Ohio booth this year, booth 1018. And basically, it's just going to be a chance for us to hang out and connect with people, let them know what GEG Ohio is, but honestly, just chat about Google stuff, maybe show off some of your favorite features, answer some questions. Don't feel you have to be an expert. Just being at the booth would be wonderful. So there are definitely quite a few slots still available. If we can't fill them all, that's okay. We'll fill whatever slots we can. Check out that sheet. Feel free to drop your name in there if there's a spot you would like to slot into there. All right. Neotech coming up in March. Always excited for that one. That's a fantastic free one. Call for presentations is open now. It closes very soon. I think we're down to like one more day, so get them in. I got mine in, so get yours in for that. The McCall conference, I will be at that in Grand Rapids. And then this summer, the HEIST conference. This is the one that we do, Spark combined with the ESC. It'll be June 2nd and 3rd this year, being held at Lake Middle School and High School. So call for proposals are open for that one as well. And of course, we've got Create in June, ISTE coming up in the middle of the summer, and the good way to kick off your back to school with the G-Tech conference August 4th. So, hey, fantastic. Thank you so much to everybody who has shared these amazing upcoming events. I do hope you will be at some of those, and I'll get a chance to say hi in person. I see Matt has told us with HEIST, we are welcoming back our food trucks. So we've got Dr. Hibachi, Uncle Bacon's Barbecue, A Movable Feast, and Pivot and Grace Coffee. Now, Matt, are any of those the cookie people? Have you got the cookie people confirmed? We must have the cookie people back. And maybe that is one of those. If not, we definitely need to figure out how to get them back. Those are fantastic cookies. All right. With all of that said, I do want to give a quick shout out also. We do have a section here that Tracy Pitts puts together for us, which is NotebookLM collections of the resources that we share. Unfortunately, Tracy was not able to do one yet for this month, but she will catch up on that. She's got some other things that she is tied up in. Always a big thanks to Tracy for what she does with that. Basically, she takes all of the things we share in the updates, and then she puts them together into monthly notebooks as well as notebooks by topic. This is still kind of a new idea. And so over time, maybe, she'll pivot and do some things different with it. If you guys have any feedback, she did ask me to pass along to you. Please let me know, let her know. Her email is right there. Is there a better way to organize these? Do you prefer the notebooks being by month or by topic, or, what options are there? She would love to hear from you. Matt said, yes, he forgot. The completely cookied booth is back. Yes. Oh, okay. See, because Matt, if it wasn't for that, I don't know. I was kind of on the fence. No. I of course absolutely am going to be there, but that just seals the deal. Okay, fantastic. All right. Well, folks, with all of that said, we're going to get into the bulk of our meeting here. So basically, what we try to do is let you know what's new in Google since our last meeting, so you don't get caught off guard. So you know what's new, what's coming out, and that way you can properly prepare your staff and your students and really take advantage of these resources. Now, I do have the updates in two different tabs. There's one that's chronological by date and one that's by topic. The one that is by date, if you prefer that, you can scroll down there and see everything that's happened since our last meeting. Again, our last meeting was mid-December, so this is technically a month and a half since our last meeting. I am not going to use that tab, though. I'm going to use the by topic tab. It's the only way I can kind of keep myself straight. It's a little too much of jumping around on the one by date, so we're going to go through the by topic one. You will note a couple of key things. Anyone that have a bolding on them, those are the ones I have selected to talk about today. We certainly do not have time to talk about everything, so I've selectively picked a few. If there's something I did not pick that you care about, definitely click on the links, check them out. They're all there, but also drop something in the chat. If you would like me to talk about one of the things that I've skipped over, please let me know. At the same time, please give some feedback on the ones we are covering. Are you excited about some of these? Do you have questions on them? Have you tried these things out? What are your thoughts on all of these updates? Please drop those into the chat as we go. I'll also remind you that I do use emojis here to indicate what version of Google Workspace for Education these are for. For example, if you see all of the emojis, that basically means, hey, anybody can use this. The fundamentals, the free tier, and then we have standard, teaching and learning, education plus, and the Gemini add-on. So that gives you a little bit of an idea as to who they're available for. All right. That's it. All right. I think we're good to go. Let's go ahead and get on into this. So the first thing is the BETT conference. Now, this one actually happened very recently. This was just a few days ago, actually. Well, about a week ago, I guess, at this point. So this was very recent, but so much gets announced at BETT that I'm just putting it all together. I could have broken these out into different areas, but they just cross over way too much. So it's not worth trying to suss it out. So basically, we're just going to cover the BETT conference. So this is the British Educational Technology Trade Show. Takes place each year at the start of the year. And it's an opportunity that Google takes many times to share a lot of new updates. They do the same thing in the middle of the summer with ISTE. They do that here with BETT. And so they shared a bunch of stuff. Now, I am not going to go through everything they shared. Instead, I'm going to go through my summary of what they shared. So you can click all these links, have at it. Okay. So all of the, and I did, I read every single thing. I paid very close attention to all this stuff, but basically I took all of the things they announced and I distilled it down to what I decided was my 15 favorite updates. Now, clearly they shared more than 15 things there, so I am skipping some stuff. So I still do encourage you to actually go in and read through these different posts that they made. But I am going to pop open my resource document, my link here, which goes to a blog post I made where I summarized 15 of the things that I was most excited about. So I'm going to run through these and some of them I'll demonstrate. Some of them I'll just mention. A lot of them I just have to mention because they haven't rolled out yet. These are things they're announcing, so they're coming soon, but maybe not out yet. All right. With that said, let's go down through these. The first category was Gemini updates. And here is the big shift with this. Basically, in the past, if you wanted to use Gemini and you didn't want to pay for the little robot emoji guy here, the Google AI, it used to be called the Gemini add-on. Now it's like the Google AI upgrade or something like that. There's always a new name for it seems. Sorry about that. But if you didn't want to pay for that, the only way to use Gemini was literally just to go to Gemini. So you would go on out to Gemini and you would use Gemini there. Okay, perfect, excellent, wonderful, that's great. That was what it was. But you may have been aware that people that were paying for the Google, oh, there it is, Google AI Pro for Education. That's the upgrade one. People that were paying for that, they were getting a lot of extra features that the free users weren't getting. Well, I'm so happy to say Google is starting to move some features from the paid version down into the regular education tiers with no additional cost on top of that. That is really encouraging because I love to see that rather than the other way, rather than, more and more and more and more things going into the paid tiers, actually seeing things leave the paid tier and come down into the pre-existing tiers that we have. So good on you, Google. Thank you for doing that. That's great. So here's what has happened. This first batch, please do note, these are for Education Plus and Teaching and Learning. So you say, well, Eric, I thought you were saying they were free. No, be careful. Notice how they said it. They said at no additional cost. You still would have to be paying for Education Plus or Teaching and Learning add-on to get these updates, but there's no additional cost. They're bringing them down into the tiers for Education Plus and Teaching and Learning. Now, a lot of schools are at Education Plus. A lot of schools are there now, so you will get these. So what are you getting? Basically, you're getting Gemini inside of your Google products. So you're going to get a side panel inside of Docs, Slides, Forms, Sheets, Vids, Gmail, all these things where you can interact with Gemini instead of having to leave and go to Gemini. Let me show you what I mean. So let's say I'm here inside of Google Docs. So here is a Google Doc. This is a template that I created quite a while back. It's like a classroom guideline, acceptable use AI template. Talks about what is permitted with AI, what is prohibited, and general guidelines. Again, I shared this out long ago. This is something that I posted about a long time ago. Well, if I'm inside of Google Docs, I can look up in the top right-hand corner, and there's a little Gemini button there. If I click that, that's the side panel we're talking about. Now, why do I have access to this now? I do pay the $20 a month or whatever it is for the upgrade. So I am already paying for the Pro. So that's why I have access to it. The thing is, this is now going to be coming to everybody who's got Teaching and Learning or just the Education Plus without that additional AI upgrade. Now, there's still going to be some things, obviously, that don't come down, but they're bringing pieces of it down. So for example, what they're going to give you is help me write. So what that means is you're going to be inside of Google Docs here, and you can just type in something like, summarize this document or whatever. Or let's say I said something like this, rewrite this document for middle school. Oh boy, I cannot. I see, that's the thing, I cannot type. I really should pre-type these up ahead of time. Rewrite this document for middle school math students. So let's say I like this. I like this classroom guidelines thing, but I need it customized for middle school math. Well, I could just say that, drop that in, and now it's going to read through my entire document, and it's going to say, sure thing, here's how I would do that for middle school math. And now I'm getting examples that are specific to math and to middle school. So it's basically rewriting this document for me with these adjustments here. Now, if I like that, fantastic. Basically, once I get to the bottom of this, it's still generating it. But once I get to the bottom of this, I will be able to replace this with the new version here. Still generating. I did pick a pretty big document here, so I guess that's my fault. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So you see here, I now have an insert option. So I could just insert that right in. I could copy and paste it into a new document, or I could do follow-up questions. So now, could I have done this some other way without the side panel? Of course, yeah. I could have taken this document. I could have gone to Gemini. I could have attached it from my Google Drive. I could have asked the exact same question and probably gotten pretty much the exact same answer. So it's not like, oh, now I've got this new ability. It's more of a convenience. It's the fact that you don't have to do that. You can just be right in your document and have a conversation here and never have to leave and go over to Gemini for that. So that's an example of what that would look like with docs. With slides, it's things like generating a slide or generating images or designs to put into a slide. So if I've got this slideshow where I'm talking about, life cycle of a butterfly, and I've got, the egg, the caterpillar, the pupa, the adult. Let's say I didn't have the pupa one. Let's delete that for a moment. Let's say I didn't have that and I need it. Oh, I need stage 3. I don't have that. I have stage 2 and stage 4. I could come here, click on Gemini and say something like create a slide for what was it? Stage 2. And now, sorry, stage 3, which was the pupa stage, correct? Yes. I think I forgot which stage that was. I got to remember here. Was that the pupa stage? Here, let me go back. Yes, it was the pupa stage. Yes. Okay, very good. And so now I could submit that. And yeah, it's now going to, come up with a slide that hopefully captures the essence of what I've been doing here. Now, I could have been more specific, make sure it's appropriate for grade, blah, 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 blah. But it should be picking up on this slideshow and understanding. And there it is. Yeah, perfect. And now it didn't grab the color the way I wanted, but that's okay. I could still hit insert and I could come here and I could apply this formatting to it. But no, it seems like it did a pretty good job. Now, I don't need to do all of these, but you get the idea. Forms. Now, actually, I will show you the forms one really quick. If you go to Google Forms, it's the generate a form option. And that is so nice. So when you go to Google Forms, you're going to get this pop-up here and you can just say, make a quiz, about the Boston Tea Party for grade 8 students, and it'll just make the quiz, or create a survey for parents' night. It'll just make it. So that's really nice. I love that. Google Sheets. Yep. You can analyze, organize, so if I've got a spreadsheet, and this is not real data. This is just pretend data here, but I could click on this and I could ask it questions to, create a summary. Earlier I said, maybe make a chart, but I could say, help me come up with a formula to do X, Y, Z, or, summarize this, come up with the averages, whatever the case might be. So that's nice. Google Vids. Now, don't forget, Vids is available to everybody now. This was quite a while back now, but I think it was like last summer, but Vids is now available to everybody. And a lot of really nice things. One of the best things that you're getting with this is to be able to use AI to create your initial rough draft. And so when you go into Vids, so if I go into Vids and I say start a new video, in the past, you did not have all these options here. You basically could make a blank video or you could pick a template. And that was about it. That was it. The AI ones are these kind of things like convert a slideshow. That's one of the AI powered ones. I can click here and I can pick a slideshow. I could choose my butterfly slideshow, for example. And then after picking that, let me go back here, sorry. After picking that slideshow, I could pick that slideshow and it will take it and convert it into a Vids formatted format that then I could go in and adjust more. Or here's the one called Storyboard. Click on that. And this is an AI one. Just describe what you want. Say, I need a video that covers this, that's appropriate for this audience, blah, 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 blah. And it will build out the entire rough draft, the storyboard, the placeholders, the text. It'll fill it all out. Then you can go through and you can kind of tidy it up. This is such a time saver than having to start from scratch. So that's awesome. And then lastly, Gmail, you get things like drafting emails and summarizing threads, help me write, suggested replies, AI overviews. This one's a little different. It's all editions. So heads up, this one also includes the fundamentals. The others did not. The others were Education Plus, Teaching and Learning. Gmail, though, Google is saying everybody gets this. So this actually is coming to everybody. You'll be able to, while writing an email, help you draft the email, summarize threads, things like that. So there you go. So that's one of the big updates. And that's really neat. If you have Teaching and Learning or Plus, very soon, these are rolling out. You might have them now. If not, you will be getting them very shortly, all of these AI integrations right into those tools. Another thing, though, that was in the Gemini realm is a neat thing they announced, which is SAT practice tests are now available inside of Gemini. All you have to do, these are free. Everybody can use these. This is totally free. All you have to do is ask, I want to take a practice SAT test. If that's what you put in, so if I go to Gemini and I literally just put that in, and I'll just do this on fast, that's fine to keep it quick. I can just say, I want to take a practice SAT test, zoom in so you can see that. And that's it. It'll catch that phrase, and in a moment, it'll switch into that mode. Give it a moment here, and there it goes. So it pops up this interactive quiz mode where I've got a reading and writing SAT or a math SAT, and I can start either one, go through. It'll, of course, grade me at the end, tell me how I did. It'll give me, feedback. I think I've got some in the animated GIF here. You can see it tells you how you did. It can help explain what you got wrong and things like that. So that's nice. All right. So those are some of the updates that I classified under Gemini updates. Having said that, I'm going to show you a few more, and even some of these have Gemini in them, but they were more specific to certain things. So again, let me know. Let me know if you guys have questions, comments, thoughts on any of those. But that's the Gemini updates that I saw at BETT that caught my attention. So let's pop on down to the classroom updates. Now, heads up, this one, I can't really show you many of these. Most all of these are coming soon. But what were some of the classroom updates? One is an updated homepage. So be aware, all editions are getting this. Don't be surprised when it happens. Student view and teacher view and like administrator view is going to be different. A whole new rearrangement, same content, but much cleaner, organized in a way that hopefully is going to be more efficient for everybody there. So that's going to happen soon. Here's another neat one that's coming soon. The ability when you're in Gemini to ask questions about your Google Classroom. So from Gemini, you'll be able to type in the @classroom. So you can see here @classroom. So you can choose that as a connected app and then say, hey, summarize, how my students are doing in my period 2 class, or who is, falling behind, or who is not turning things in. And Gemini can now jump over to your classroom, analyze your classroom, and bring back that response. And that's free for everybody. That's coming to all editions. Another thing that I'm really curious, this is one I'm really very curious to see what comes of this. This is the student insights for GEMS and NotebookLM in Classroom. So right now, I think you guys already know this. If I pop up here, I'll pop up Classroom really quick. This is not the new thing. If I go to Classroom and I go to a demo class, and don't worry, these are just demos, no students in any of these, not real students. If I come here and I go to create an assignment, you probably already know this, that you can attach GEMS and notebooks to the assignments. That's not new. We've had that now for a while. What they're saying is coming soon, insights into how the students are using the GEMS and the notebooks. So this is an area that I think Google definitely needs to do. And I'm just curious to see how far they'll take it. Here's what I mean by this. When you think about one of the selling points of a tool like Magic School, School AI, Brisk, things like that, when it comes to student usage, is the ability for a teacher to be able to monitor what the students are doing. If I create a space with School AI or a room in Magic School or a Brisk Boost activity, and I give that link to my students, this customized AI experience for them, it records everything. It records everything the student types, the responses from the AI. And as an educator, I can go in, I can look at those, I can get AI summaries of them. It's really, really, really nice. At the moment, we don't have that with Gemini yet. Yes, when a student talks to Gemini, it does record their conversations, but it's not something that teachers can get to easily or really at all. You have to go through your tech administrator to get to those conversations, and that's just not realistic. So this is one I'm really curious. I want to see what does this look like when you push a gem out to a student, which is basically like a School AI space or a Magic School room or a Brisk Boost. It's a Gemini gem, a custom AI experience for the students, or a notebook. What is it going to grab? So at the moment, they're being a little vague. I'm not sure. They're saying, in topics engaged, top questions, student usage. Is it going to be more than that? I don't know. So keep an eye out on that one and see what happens. Now, this one, this was really cool. I was so excited to see this. Feedback on writing assignments. Now, heads up, this is Education Plus and Teaching and Learning. I'm not surprised, but still, wow, this is great. So basically, when I'm in classroom and I open up a student's essay, there's going to be a help me write option for feedback where it can generate basically glow and grow feedback on the spot. Now, this makes me think of something like Brisk, which I've shown many times. Brisk, amazing for being able to generate feedback on the fly on a document. Very similar vibe that I'm getting here with that. So I'm curious to try that one out when that becomes available. Next up, audio and video recording in classroom. And this one's interesting. We have actually had this ability for years in the mobile version of Classroom. So if you use Classroom on your phone, you've been able to record audio and video for literally years, like 5+ years. I don't know how long. And I always wondered, why don't we have that? Why don't we have that in the web version? Well, guess what? You're now going to get it. So now from the web version, you will be able to simply click a little record button. And when you do that, you can record your voice or you can record a video and drop it right into Classroom. That's wonderful for a teacher to be able to give directions, great to give feedback for students, great for students to use to explain their understanding. So really looking forward to that. Next up, standards are coming to Classroom and the ability to tag coursework with those. They've done a lot of work to get standards from all the different areas, so everybody is covered there as best as possible. I'm sure they'll be adding more if there's any that they've missed. But yeah, as you go in, you'll be able to add standards, link standards to your assignments so you can track the mastery of the standards over time, and that's coming to all editions. So thumbs up on that. And then the last two I picked was Chromebook updates. So real quick, we've talked about Class Tools before. I love Class Tools. I think it's really, really nice. It's so convenient. Basically, the teacher has a Chromebook, the students have Chromebooks. You can create a session that the students join, and it lets you do things like, push resources out to the students. It allows you to be able to monitor what the students are doing. It allows students to be able to see a transcript of what you're saying and even translate what you're saying into a different language. All of that's great. What's new is making it easier to mirror content from a teacher or student device to a screen. So that's a new feature. So basically at any point, if there's a student who's done something amazing on their Chromebook using Class Tools now, boop, we can pop them right up on the screen that everybody can see in the class. That's nice. And then screen annotations is the other thing. When you are in Class Tools, being able to annotate right on the screen to mark things up. So there you go. Now there's a lot of other announcements, okay? All of those blog posts are here. Check them out. See what you think about any of these other ones here. But those were the 15 that I selected out of those. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free in the chat to drop in if you have is there one of those you're excited about? Is there one you've got a question on? Is there one that you've tried out and you want to share your opinion? And whatever the case might be, please feel free to share those. Oh, I did see John did pop in the chat to say, unfortunately, he's not able to join us today, but he is sending his best. So John is one of our co-leaders, and I appreciate John and all that he does to support what we do here as well. Fantastic. All right. Well, with that said, I'm going to keep on rolling, but I'll do my best to keep an eye on the chat and see if anything else does pop up. Tell you what, I'm going to close out of that extra tab. I'm going to close out of a bunch of these because I would rather not have all these up because I will lose my way if I don't. So I'm going to close out of several of these here, and then we can come back around to them if we need to later on there. All right. And I'll exit out of that as well. All right. Good deal. So let's keep on moving. The next big category here is just Gemini in general. No surprise, guys. There's a lot. There's a bunch. So I'm going to hit a few of these. Let me know if you got questions, comments, thoughts. The first one I'm going to hit really quick was the announcement of Gemini 3 Flash being available. Okay, so let's explain why this is important. So you'll remember last meeting, we talked about Gemini 3 Pro launching and what a massive upgrade that was. I mean, Gemini 2.5 was already amazing, but Gemini 3 Pro, just an absolute state-of-the-art, phenomenal, AI model, which, by the way, I know I've mentioned this before, but if you ever go out to LM Arena LM Arena is a website where people do basically a blind test of these different AI models. So did they move us to a new? Oh, no, that's okay. I didn't know if they moved this to a new thing or not. Okay, let me see if I can find the leaderboard over here. Where's my leaderboard at here? Oh, there it is, leaderboard. I knew I'd find it if I looked long enough. There it is. Okay, perfect. So basically, when people go to LM Arena, what they do is they put in a task, and it will randomly pick 2 AI tools to run that task and show you the results those 2 AI tools have rendered, but you don't know which tools are which. You don't even know which 2 tools you're looking at. And then people vote on which one they liked better. And so it's basically it's like a Coke versus Pepsi blind taste test, and so millions of people use LM Arena as a way to more objectively rank these tools, and they rank them over all these different categories. Well, if you go to the very bottom, you'll see when everything is said and done, Gemini 3 Pro is the #1 ranked AI tool in the world. It is amazing. It is a really, really, really good model. Well, that's great. Here's what happens though. Typically after Google rolls out a new version of Gemini, in this case 3 Pro, shortly thereafter, maybe a month and a half later, they release the Flash version of that tool. Basically, the Pro version is the real powerful one, but what they do is they distill it down to a more leaner, meaner version of it, and that's the Flash version. And now the Flash version has come out. So basically, if I were to go to Gemini prior to this, and I were to click on the model chooser, I had 3 Pro, but then I had 2.5 for the Flash version. So we were using 3 Pro for about a month, and we had to drop down to 2.5 for the fast Flash version. Well, that's no longer the case. Now, the Flash version of 3 is available. And if you noticed on LM Arena, it's ranked 3rd in the world, and that's the Flash version. So, I mean, that's really, really, really good. Now, why do I get excited about this? Well, part of it is because, remember, folks, we do have some limitations daily on how many times we can use the more powerful versions. We're going to talk about this in a moment, but you can do 100 Pro prompts a day. That's great, but still, that's only 100. The fast version, that's unlimited. They call it general access. There is no limit to how many times you can have a conversation with the fast or Flash mode per day. The fact that this is now Gemini 3 is wonderful, because what was happening is people were using up, their 100 Pros, and they had to drop down to 2.5 Flash. Well, now they're dropping down to 3 Flash, which is an amazingly powerful tool. So it's just a win-win-win all the way around. So basically, now we have a very, very robust collection of Gemini 3 models: fast, thinking, and Pro. Pro being best for math and coding, for example, there. All right. So just wanted to get that out there and explain why it makes a difference, why it's important. It's just not a new number. It actually is pretty significant that we have that. Next one up is more of a just to be aware kind of a thing, and that is a change to students being allowed to generate images. That was not the case before. So heads up, in the past, one of the distinguishing things about under 18 users of Gemini was if they were on a school account, they could not generate images. Now, there's other things they can't do, like deep research and blah, 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 blah. And they've got some more filtering and things like that. But this was one of the big things, was they couldn't make images. And I think a lot of schools were kind of happy about that. I tended to get that impression that they were happy that the students couldn't make images. Well, I guess Google, weighed things back and forth and decided that it was in the benefit of everybody to allow students to make images. I'm not sure. I would be curious what you guys think about this. Does anybody have an opinion on this? Do you agree? Do you disagree with that? They did go into great detail here to say that they've really worked hard with rigorous testing with users under 18, recognizing areas that are inappropriate, implementing safety features and guardrails, content filters, prevent unsafe content, all of this kind of stuff. So they're saying, hey, and I try, don't get me wrong, I truly believe they have. I truly do believe they have done their best to do so. I'm just curious, is that okay? Is that enough? Have you been able, because here's the thing, folks, there's always a way to trick the tools. There's always a way around things. I see this a lot of times online where people will post basically their jailbroken images, like, oh, aha, I was able to trick it to make something it shouldn't have made, So it's like, and I guess that's always going to be the case. So I could make an argument both ways. I could be like, listen, they got to learn how to use this stuff. They got to learn. They have to know how to use it appropriately. And so this is no different than anything else we have to monitor and instruct, etc. And I get the other side where people say, well, yeah, but do we have to fight that battle right now? We've got a lot of battles going on. So I am curious. I did appreciate, we got a comment from Rochelle saying, I do like that the students can create infographics now. And Rochelle, I'm with you there too. I can make that argument that, yeah, there's a lot of good things a student could do with this. This would allow them to create infographics and to create, if it's an illustration for a story they're writing, if they want to make that, if it's an image to go on their slideshow. Yeah, there's a lot of good. So I'm not taking a stand. I'm just saying, don't get caught off guard. If you have been operating under the assumption that students could not make images, that has changed. And it did catch me by guard because I didn't realize that right away. And I was doing a training and talking about, students and AI, usage. And this had just recently come out, and I did not realize that had happened. So don't want anybody here to get caught off guard about that. All right. This may mean you might need to tweak some of your AI policies and guidelines to make sure that they're appropriately addressing images as well. Speaking of images, though, on a positive note, Google did post a neat blog post here about 13 of the best nano banana trends from 2025. So if you're looking for inspiration, you're like, oh, what could I do with this new powerful image generation tool? Which, remember, that's the idea that if I go to Gemini and I go to tools and I click create images, that's giving me nano banana. That is Google's code name for their AI image generation tool. And I can pop up from fast to thinking to pro. If I go to pro, that is the most powerful nano banana there is. That's Nano Banana 3 Pro. You can do a lot of really cool things. So like, I won't go through everything here, but they're showing things like editing images, upload an image and say, hey, change this from day to night. Or, hey, here's a picture of my dog, make a figurine out of him, or here's a picture of somebody and another picture of themselves when they were a child. Hey, make a picture of me hugging my younger self. That's really cute. That's really cool. Okay, that's great. But, generating comics and cartoons, making artistic images, trying out different hairstyles, sure. And then infographics. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we that is such a big one right there. And I know I shared this last month. This is not a new thing, but I've actually got a whole blog post if you guys do need to dive into that. This would have been last month. Let me see, probably back in December. Nope. It was November. Sorry, end of November. So here's the post I did on infographics. And yes, it is truly impressive. 6 months ago, we could not have made these infographics. So for example, I'll just pull up some of these, that I've done here. So like, here's a hero's journey, figurative language periodic table, water cycle, how a bill becomes a law, on and on and on. Ancient Egypt, Shakespeare, food webs, you get the idea. These are so detailed and very accurate, and the words are spelled correctly. And that's not the case in the past. AI would not have been able to do something like this. And so, yeah, for a teacher or a student to be able to take, in this case, I think I took like an article and I fed it an article. For this one, I think I grabbed the script from a YouTube video, the transcript, and I said, hey, summarize this YouTube video as an infographic. That could be really helpful for a student to grasp more complex content by doing that. So yes, that is such a great use of them. But on and on and on. Holiday edits, you get the idea. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of things there. Retouching old photos, having a bunch of dogs. Sure, that's all great. So anyway, just wanted to say, if you're looking for some inspiration, do check out that blog post there. All right. I do see a question popped up in the chat. With Gemini, have they added an admin panel or reporting feature where schools can monitor what is being created? Zach, I am not aware of like if you mean like images, I'm not aware of that. I do know that yes, everything they type in, all of the text they type in, it is all saved in Google Vault. And so a tech admin can go into Google Vault and can run a search there and can see everything the student has typed in. I need to check because there you go. The last time I checked was before they could make images. So now I need to go back and check and see, as an administrator, can I see images that students are creating? So I don't want to say yes or no because I haven't tried it. This is a newer thing, so I'll do that. I'll run a test on that and see. I'll use one of my pretend student accounts. I'll generate an image, and then I'll go in and see if I, as the administrator, can see the image they made. So that would be helpful. I think no matter what, though, Zach, anything Google can do to increase transparency for schools to monitor these things, I think is a step in the right direction. So, all right. Next up, we were talking about limits earlier. Let's dive into those. So Google frequently updates this link. This is a link that I share out on a lot of my sessions when I'm talking about Gemini. If you follow this link, it takes you to a page where Google explains how much you get for free and how much you get in the paid version of Gemini. So this is if you're using Gemini for free inside of Fundamentals or Standard or Plus. This is if you're paying the $20 a month for the upgrade. Here's the new change. They separated Pro and Thinking. Those used to be together as one thing, and it was 100 prompts a day. Well, this is a move in a positive direction. They left Pro at 100, which I get that, and they left Fast at general access, which means unlimited. They put Thinking at 300 prompts a day. That's great. That's really good because, again, Fast is probably going to do 95% of what you need. Thinking, though, is way more sophisticated. It takes longer. It considers multiple options. It really wrestles with your prompt, and then it comes up with a really sophisticated response, where Pro is even better than that and also handles math and code. The fact that you have 300 thinking prompts a day, fantastic. I think that's great. So for example, I know I've talked about my EduGems site before. I'll mention this more later when we get to my show and tell, but a lot of my EduGems that I have here, they're very big prompts. They are not like a 2-sentence prompt. They are a multi-page prompt, and Fast sometimes doesn't quite understand what the prompt is saying because the prompt is just way too complicated. There's just too much in it. It's like, I don't know, I'll just grab, any one of these as an example here. Let's say I grab my, ACT English generator or something. If I go to make a copy of that, you'll see the prompt. So let's look at the prompt here. You'll see the prompt is big. This is not a short prompt. That is the prompt for that one. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. And sometimes I have found that because of that, Fast doesn't quite get it. So if I go and I run the gem, I'll typically say, hey, before I run this, instead of Fast, I'm going to pop this up to Thinking and then submit it. And I find that I get a much better response. So just be aware that is the new limit that you've got. They broke those out. And so now Thinking does give you 300 prompts per day with that, which is great. All right, what's up next? Next up, take your notebooks further by adding NotebookLM as a source in the Gemini app. Now, here's the blog post that explains all about it. I'm going to actually demonstrate this for you guys because I think this is going to be a lot more impactful than we might realize at first, but I'll explain why as we get into it. So here's the idea. We all know about NotebookLM. I don't think anybody here is confused about what NotebookLM is. We love it. It's great. You basically go to NotebookLM, you create a notebook, and you add resources to it. Okay, fantastic. Love, love, love NotebookLM. And of course, we all know what Gemini is. There's no question about that. We all understand what Gemini is. What they're saying is Now, if you go to the plus button here inside of Gemini and say, I want to add something, instead of uploading files, instead of just adding from your drive, you can now attach a notebook or multiple notebooks to your Gemini chat. So I could click here and I could choose from my notebooks here and decide, what notebooks I want to add to this chat. Why is that important? Okay, well, probably a lot of reasons, but this is probably the one that rises to my mind first. How many files can you normally attach to a Gemini chat? You probably know this, but if not, the answer is 10. You can attach 10 files to a Gemini chat. So if I say I want to upload files, grab from my drive, I can pick 10 files. Now it can be 5 that I uploaded, 5 from my drive, whatever, but it's a total of 10 total files. How many files can be inside of a notebook? And again, you probably know this, but if not, a notebook can hold 50 files in a single notebook. So if I attach a notebook to a Gemini chat, I just attached 50 files. This is the workaround. This allows you to attach so much more content to Gemini than you could otherwise. So where this gets me excited is things like, let's say I have an assignment where students have been writing an essay, and I want to be able to use Gemini to really dig into that essay and give me some feedback, maybe grade the essay, maybe write some feedback, maybe generate some content based on it. Well, you say, well, Eric, just go to NotebookLM and just do it there. And you're right, absolutely. I could go to NotebookLM and I could say, hey, here is a persuasive writing assignment notebook, which again, this is all pretend. These are not real student assignments here, but I could, absolutely. I could drop 30 assignments into a notebook, and then, I could pop over to reports and I could say, hey, I want you to, create your own. I could be like, summarize my most common issues my students are having and blah, 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 blah. So I could do that. Having said that, there are some areas where NotebookLM comes up a little short when it comes to the robustness of what I can get out of Gemini with the back and forth conversation. I can do that. I can chat. I absolutely can chat, but I haven't always found, I like the ability to come over to Gemini and, like, for example, use a gem. At the moment, I don't have an easy way to do that. Who knows? Maybe they're going to make gems for notebooks and then it'll be a moot point. But at the moment, I can't really do this with a gem. I have to type in the prompts. I have to have them saved and copied and pasted in and stuff like that. Here's where I'm driving at here, guys. What I did recently was I made a gem just to test this out. Now, I have not released this gem. This gem is not available for anybody yet, but I made a gem that was called, let me find it, bulk grader. So this is my bulk grader gem. So let me open this bulk grader up, and I'll show you what this is. Okay, so here's the bulk grader gem. I'll go to thinking because that's going to be helpful, and I'll say hi to it so it gets started. This is a gem that understands that I am now allowed to add NotebookLM files. It says, okay, hey, I'm a bulk grader to help you. Here's what I want you to do. Tell me the details of your assignment, the grade level, the subject, directions, rubric, whatever, and then give me your student work. Add the notebook that has all 30 plus students in it. And then if you got anything else to tell me, go ahead and do that. So I can come here and I can say, add a whole notebook. And I can say, let's add the persuasive writing notebook to it. And boom, I just dropped 30 essays into Gemini. Then I can say, okay, what was the assignment? Here, I think I probably got this under my resources and my grading. Here we go. It's a persuasive writing one. So let me add this. This is the rubric and the assignment. And then I would say grade 8 language arts. All right, there we go. So I gave it the grade, the subject, the essays, the rubric, and the assignment. Okay, and optionally I could give it details. Well, if I drop that in, it is now going to process all of that. It's saying, okay, I've got all this information here. Okay, is there anything else I need to know? Are there, ESL students or whatever? And actually, I do have some pretend ESL students in there. I could say, yes, I do have a few ESL students. That is true. Anyway, with that said, now it's going to go, okay, I think I've got everything that I need to know here. And it's going to give me basically a menu where it can say, what do you want to do with all of these essays that we've just pulled in here now? And so what you're going to see shortly, again, it's cranking through a lot of stuff here. There's a lot. Again, that's very helpful. Okay, so with all of that said, what do you want to do? Do you want to grade the assignments? Do you want to generate personalized feedback for every assignment? Do you want to do a common needs analysis to see what are the frequent weaknesses? Do you want to do some student grouping by need? Do you want to come up with instructional suggestions on how to address these gaps? Do you have a custom request? So I could say, hey, let's grade the assignments, and I could drop that in there, and it's going to grade all 30 assignments, and come up with, the grades. And then I could, do all the stuff here. So here it is. It's grading my student assignments here for me. Now, this all looks really cool, and I'm really excited about this. Here's where we hit a snag, and I'm curious what Google's going to do about this. The reason I am having such success with this is because I pay for the AI upgrade, which means, let's bring our limits back up here. Let's grab our limits really quick and look at them again. It's something we haven't talked about. It's this thing called context window. So what's a context window? The context window is how much content can the AI look at one time. Guess what? The free version, it's only 32,000 tokens. A token is it's equivalent to like a portion of a word. So typically we say take that and take like 75%. So like, 24,000 or whatever words, ish. That's how many words it can process at once. Because I'm paying, I get a 1,000,000 token context window. Here's the problem. I tried this exact same thing on an account that doesn't have the paid version, and it just totally broke down. It just absolutely failed. Why? It's too much data. Once you start attaching a notebook, I attached 30 essays, each essay being, 500 words or more or something like that. I attached a rubric. I attached all this stuff. It can't look at it all at once. It is too much information for it to process at once. You hit the cap. You hit the 32,000 cap. So I guess what we're saying here is I am really excited about this. I love the fact that we can add a notebook. But a notebook, and by the way, what is the cap on NotebookLM? That's what's really weird. And I've got that. It's on a different screen. I have to find it somewhere. The context window for free for NotebookLM is 1,000,000. The NotebookLM context window is 1,000,000, but the Gemini context window for free is 32,000. So you can just load up this notebook with so much stuff. And in the totally free version, you can have 1,000,000 context window conversation with it. But as soon as you attach it to Gemini, it's gonna crash. So I don't know what's gonna come of that. I did send an email to one of my contacts over there. And I asked, hey, here's what's going on. Can I explain the whole thing? I have not heard back yet, other than he said, thank you for letting me know. So I'm curious to find out what response I get back from them on that. So anyway, I don't know if you guys even care about this. I feel like I just went on a 10-minute, tangent there, but I think it's worth being aware of these kind of things as we move forward. So anyway, just heads up. There you go. All right. Last Gemini thing, final Gemini thing. This one is just going to be a quick FYI because this announcement is not an education announcement. This is a commercial personal use announcement. And that is Google has rolled out something called AI Plus as a new plan. So if you're not thinking of your school account, if you're thinking about using Gemini on a personal account, there is now this new tier between free and pro. So pro is $20 a month, free is nothing a month. This is now $7.99, so $8 a month. And now they've got a sale going on right now, but still, it's and again, there's no in-between size here. Sorry, guys. So this is the free. This is $20 a month. This is going to be $8 a month. But it gives you a whole lot of really good things. You get a lot of really nice updates with it. The only reason I'm bringing this up really is, well, first of all, if you want to do this with your personal Gmail account, you now can pay $8 a month instead of having to pay $20. The other reason I bring it up is I'm curious. What impact will this have on education accounts? Will this trickle down? Will we soon have another option that instead of having to pay the $20 a month for the AI upgrade for schools, will there be another tier a little bit lower? That would be wonderful for schools to be able to pay, $8 a month instead of $20 a month. They might roll this out to way more teachers than the $20 a month one goes. So I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there to say, be aware of that. All right. Well, that's it for Gemini updates. We have a couple of NotebookLM updates, a few more scattered updates here and there. Let me pause for a moment and see if anything else has come up in the chat. I do not see anything new. So either you are bored out of your head over my tangents, or you're just soaking it all in, and that's okay as well. But let's go ahead and move on to NotebookLM and check off some things there. One of the new updates here is the ability to generate what are called data tables in NotebookLM. So this is a new one. If I pull up like my mitosis, meiosis notebook, we've had all these other ones in the past: audio, video, mind maps, reports, flashcards, quizzes, infographics, slide decks. Here's the new one: data table. So if you click data table, this allows you to describe how you want the data to be pulled out. And you can be as specific as like, hey, I want these 5 columns. I want a column for this and a column for this and a column for this. I mean, you can be as specific as you want. I think I did one really quick where I just basically asked it to create a data table comparing mitosis and meiosis, and it did. Feature, mitosis, meiosis, significance, and stuff. And there it created this table. Now that one's really basic, but you get the idea. You can put, all of your content in Notebook, and now you can create these tables that with one click export to Google Sheets. So you might have this really sophisticated table that's pulling from all of your data. Boom, with one click, it's in a Google Sheet. You've got it, and now you can do whatever you want with it. So data tables, new feature, very nice. Like it. And then just also real quick, NotebookLM has now also got the upgrade to Gemini 3. That one took a little longer. So that was actually December 19th. Gemini 3 came out, what was that, back in November? And yeah, now when you are talking to NotebookLM, it is no longer, it used to be on 2.5, and they finally upgraded it to Gemini 3. So just happy that was the case. All right. Next up. Now, this next one, I'm just going to mention it because I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I have not had time to try it out yet. I've been meaning to. It's completely been on my radar for quite a while, and I just have too many things cooking, and I just have not been able to get to it. But so Flow, what is Flow? Flow, and I'll drag it over here so you can see it. This is the Flow website. So Flow is Google's video generating and editing tool. And you can do amazing things with it. If you go to Flow and you go to like Flow TV, you can see, all of these amazing examples where it'll cycle through things that people have created, and you can go into pick the different Flow channels here and see all the amazing stuff. So this is basically using VO3, which is Google's text-to-video model, to create videos. But it's not just to create videos. Flow is then to string them together. So you can create videos, but you can put them inside of projects. So you can have multiple videos strung together, basically digital video editing. And you can have one video then lead to the next. And you can basically create entire movies. You could make an entire, long movie by stringing together bits and pieces of AI generated videos and doing transitions and all that stuff. Again, I have not tried it yet. It is completely my fault. I have not tried it. I just have not had the time to do so. And another reason why I didn't is because this was always behind a paywall. Notice, available in all paid plans. This was behind a paywall. I'm like, you know what? If I've only got X amount of time in the day, I'm going to focus on things that are free, things that every school can use. Well, guys, guess what? It's free now. It is now available for free to everybody. So I got to play with it now. I no longer have an excuse. Flow is now available for Everybody can now use this. So that is fantastic. Now, I do, okay, I got to be careful. Okay. When I say everybody, standard and plus. Okay, so fundamentals does not show up on there yet. I know they said they were going to roll it out to that eventually. So sorry, I'm going to dial back just a click there. But when I say it's not the extra AI cost, it is part of the tiers, the standard and plus tier. So, okay. So not quite completely free. But if you've got standard or plus, you'll now have access to Flow. So yeah, I do need to jump into that. Good question I saw from Beth saying, well, what's the advantage of this versus Vids? Excellent question there, Beth. So yeah, I think they both serve similar purposes. We will probably talk a little bit more about Vids later. I think I've got a few more Vids things popping up in the updates here. I actually just made I don't know if you guys saw it, the most recent video I just posted. I made myself make it in Vids. I decided, you know what? I'm actually going to use Google Vids to make my video and see if I can actually do that. So the one I just posted on exporting math from Gemini into into Google Docs, I did it in Vids. So I was really proud of myself that I made myself do that. So what's the difference? You're right. I can make a video with Vids and I can make a video with Flow. I would say here's the big difference. Okay. This is way more about AI generated video. That is the whole conceit of it. It is now, can you add video? I think you can add things that aren't AI generated. Again, I haven't played with it. I'm so sorry. I really need to get in. Well, actually, I made a project, but I didn't do anything with it. So here's my project here, but it's really about telling it, hey, I want you to make a video for me. And then it makes the video. And then I want you to make another video and another video and another video. And then I want to move them around and string them together, blend from this video to that video, extend this video. It's really about AI creating the entire video experience. Vids has an AI option in it where you can drop in 8-second AI generated videos to flesh out your video. But that's not the main focus. It's mostly, I am recording myself speaking. I am recording my screen. I am not even recording anything visual as far as the video. I'm just creating slides that I'm narrating on top of. And then maybe periodically, I'm peppering it with an AI generated clip that adds to it. So Flow, pretty much AI generation, Vids, pretty much not, with the option to pepper in some AI content. So that would be my suggestion for an answer. But again, I've used Vids a lot now. I have not used Flow. So that we got to get in. Okay. So Michelle's saying next month, we're looking forward to hearing from me. I hope so, Michelle. I hope so. We'll see. There's a lot going on. There's a lot happening. So somebody else maybe can beat me to it. Please do, and share all of your amazing insight. All right. So anyway, guys, if you've got standard or if you've got plus, jump in, start using Flow, take it for a spin, and we can learn from you. All right. Next up, Google Classroom. So Google Classroom has now added podcast-style audio lessons inside of Google Classroom through the Gemini feature. So let's pull Classroom back up. I should have just left it up earlier, but I'll pop it back up. Here we go. So this first part is not new. If you go to Google Classroom, I think we all know you can go to the left-hand menu and there is a Gemini tab on the left. You click on that and you get all these amazing AI tools. Okay, that's not new. We've had that since last July. The new thing is this button right there, create an audio lesson. That's the new thing. If you give a click on that, it behaves just like the other ones, but it is a new tool. This is going to allow you to create a narrated conversation between two AI co-hosts. This sounds like NotebookLM. This sounds like the audio overview in NotebookLM. Well, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yes, it is the same technology. It's just in Classroom. So I could say, yeah, I'm doing, something for, grade 5. and we're learning about, food webs or something like that. And I can also add my own content if I wanted to put content in there, but I'll just do this quick and simple. It then generates the learning objectives, and I can edit these if I don't like them. It then allows me to pick the avatar that I want, for the speakers. It lets me pick the voice that I want for the speakers. And then I hit generate audio lesson, and that's it. It's the same thing as NotebookLM. That is true. It is creating an audio overview, but it's doing it right here in Classroom. And once it's done, it gives you a very simple, very easy export button over here where you can export the audio straight to Google Drive. And that's it. You've got it. You can share it with your students however you want, drop it into Classroom, and they can click and play it back, and they can listen to this audio lesson that covers this content. Now, I think there's more features coming, because when I first was looking at this, they described other things that you could do. Let me see if I can find the post. They described other things you could do that haven't shown up yet. Yep, like for example, they say you'll be able to specify the number of speakers and whether it's an interview or a conversation style. That hasn't shown up yet. I didn't see an option to pick different amounts of speakers. I didn't see an option to change the style. So it looks like they're still working on it, but here you go. At least so far, it has now given me, this one. So here is the script that it came up with. And then at the bottom of that, well, that's interesting. My button disappeared. Where did my button go? Okay. Well, that didn't work. There's supposed to be a button here where it plays that. Hold on a second. What happened, buddy? Here, let's regenerate that. What did you do? Okay, I'll let that run again. Yeah, there's a little button at the bottom to play it, but it wasn't there. I don't know what happened to it. Okay, maybe I don't know. I left the tab. That shouldn't have made it mad. Right here is where it pops up a little play button. I'll just leave it there. I'll just leave it there and see if it comes through okay. And then Rochelle said, I don't see the option to change the language. So again, I think all of that is coming. Right now, if I'm in NotebookLM, I can choose whatever language I want. So they have the technology. Absolutely. They have the option to do that. But let's just put it this way. This is version 1. Give them a little bit of time. And my feeling is we are going to get these additional features in this eventually. Oh, and there it is. Here, I'll play the little audio thing for you.
Hello. Today, we're going to explore what I call the great energy chain by talking about food webs. A food web is like an invisible highway that shows how energy moves from one living thing to the next in an ecosystem, like a forest or an ocean. Understand?
Okay, I'll just stop that there, but you get the idea. So yes, in NotebookLM, when I generate an audio overview, I can pick the language, I can pick the type of conversation. So give it some time. It'll be here eventually. We just don't have that yet. Sarah's asking, can you edit the text? No. We cannot. It generates that, and that's what it is. So again, that would be awesome. I think that'd be fantastic. Have it generate the transcript and then pause and say, what do you think of this? And you could go in and you could actually change it and then hit generate or something like that. That sounds like, I love it. I think that sounds like a great idea. That'd be fantastic. So sounds like a good thing to, and you know what? Hey, I really do mean this with all sincerity. Google does listen to all of your requests. They actually really do. So this would be the perfect opportunity to remind you from this screen, you come down here to the little question mark button and you click that and you say that you want to send feedback to Google. And then it pops up this little thing and you say, suggest an idea. You take a screenshot, whatever, and just tell them, hey, I would love to be able to edit the transcript before generating it. Hey, I'd love to be able to put this in different languages, whatever. They literally read every single one that goes in. I've talked to them about that. They really do. They have people that really do actually read the whole thing. So please do let them know of the things that you would like to see for next steps in the development of these tools. All right, good stuff. Next up, what do we have? Next up is Chrome. So this is just reminding us that Gemini inside of Chrome is now available and has already gotten some updates. So you probably had a chance to start playing around with this, but if not, the big message here is that Gemini is now embedded into the Chrome browser. So like, for example, if I look up here in my top right corner of my Chrome browser, there's a Gemini button. If I click that, it opens up a panel where I can talk to Gemini about the page that I'm looking at here. That's not new. This rolled out about a month ago. Well, it's been available for longer, depending upon the tier you're on, blah, 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 blah. But it became available in general about a month ago or so to everybody. So everybody can do this. So Macs can do this, PCs can do this, Chromebook Plus models can do this. So if you click on the Gemini button, you get this little chat box. Here's what's new. First of all, it didn't used to be a panel. When you clicked it, it was a pop-up window, and it just was a little clunky because it was a pop-up window. They are making this way more consistent. So just like when I was doing my other examples, like inside of Docs, and I clicked on Gemini and I get the little panel on the side, they're basically trying to do the same thing. They're saying, oh, let's just make it a panel. So it's a panel. So that's one of the things. So you can just talk to it about this web page. But, and you can also add more tabs. You can click as many tabs as you want. You can ask it to compare one tab to another, or check all 5 of these tabs and summarize this information for me. So, but again, that's not new. We have had that. That is not new. The newer things is, well, first of all, the layout, that it's like that. But now it's things like you can take any image that you see online and ask it to use that as a source image to create a new image with Nano Banana. That's cool. You have more connected apps, meaning that while you're chatting in the side panel, you can reference Gmail, Calendar, YouTube, Maps, and more, and it can pull content from your Gmail, Calendar, YouTube, Maps, and more. That's nice. It now is going to incorporate personal intelligence. This is a new feature. At the moment, personal intelligence is not available to the free plans. This is part of the paid versions at the moment, but this is the one where it allows Gemini to learn all about you by reading your emails and all those kind of things. I have turned that on because I don't mind. I'd rather it know about me so it can assist me better. It also has this new thing called auto browse. Now, again, at the moment, just so you know, this is only for the paid AI Pro people, but they've made it clear that I believe the intention is eventually this will trickle down to everybody. What this is basically auto browse is using Gemini as your own like bot to do things for you. So basically, I don't know. I'm still a little nervous about this, but it's like, hey, research hotel and flights for me, and find budget-friendly options for travel, or schedule appointments, or fill out a form, or collect my tax documents. And it'll literally take over your browser and do those things. Like, it'll click and browse and scroll and do things. And when it gets to a spot where something has to be, like a big decision has to be made, it'll pop back up and holler at you and say, hey, I need your permission. So basically, this is an agent. This is when we talk about agentic browsing. That's what this auto browse feature is. So that's built into this as well. And of course, they said it's got lots of security and stuff like that. So just be aware. This is really a pretty big step forward with Chrome, that you now have Gemini in the side panel 24/7. Anytime you need it, you can pop it up and have a conversation with it about what's going on here, about all of your different tabs. I really do actually use this. This truly is something I use a lot. And here's how I use it. I just get confused on a web page trying to find something, or I'm trying to fill out a form and there's something I don't understand. Well, what do they want in this box, or something like that? I just pop it open and say, hey, I don't understand this. What does this mean? And it can read the page with me and be like, oh, well, this is blah, 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 blah. It's really nice. It's so nice. If I can see it, it can see it. So I have really been enjoying that quite a lot. All right. Let me see. Anything else? Okay, I was looking in the chat and I saw, yes, there was a comment about if you expand the top menu, you can edit and then regenerate the lesson. I know what you're saying. So you're saying, yes, we can absolutely expand this to edit the initial criteria, like if I say edit the details, what that means is I'm going to edit the grade level, the topic, and the objectives. It's still not letting me, though, edit the transcript, if that's what the question was about. So, yeah. All right. Good stuff. Well, folks, we are almost at the end of the updates. Oh my gosh, we are really closing in here. I think it looks like there's a bunch, but honestly, I think I've only got 3 more that I bolted. So this is it. These are the last few. All right. So next up, Google Forms. Now we can, how about this? This has been something we've been asking for a long time. Thank you, Google, for finally doing this. Google Forms can now automatically stop accepting responses based on date and time or response count. Hallelujah. All right. So here's the deal. When you create a Google form, you know how that is. When you create a Google form, you can, say, well, this is for a workshop, and we can only hold 50 people. Once we get 50 people, we don't have room. We can't take anymore. And I need my Google form to stop accepting responses once we hit 50 people, and that's it. Or, hey, we're going to keep this open until midnight on Thursday. And that's it. Once midnight on Thursday comes, we're not taking any more registrations, or whatever. I just wanted to turn off. Kind of like, with, Dan, who's got to turn off his form tomorrow at midnight, I imagine, for the Neotech conference, So is Dan going to stay up till midnight, or is he going to use this new feature? So here's the idea. Basically, for years, we've had to use add-ons to do this for us. And there's a bunch of them, form limiter or something like that. There's all these different add-ons. The problem is they've just been really hit and miss. Some of the add-ons just stopped working. Some of the add-ons became, corrupted by somebody bought them and did something, inappropriate with them. Others work great, but they just started charging and said, hey, yeah, sure, you can use this, but you got to pay. Well, guess what? That doesn't matter anymore, because now, right from Google Forms, so here you go, you can see, you can now go in and you can say, under accepting responses, I want to set a time to close it, whether it's a date or a number of responses. So I can pick a date, or I can pick how many responses I want. And that's it. There you go. As soon as the form hits that date or gets the certain amount of responses, turns the form off. So in one fell swoop, there you go. All of those add-ons are no longer needed. So again, thanks to Google for rolling that out. Speaking of Google Vids, yes, I said we did have something else, Vids, coming up. I will not demonstrate this. I'll just mention it really quick. If you are using Google Vids for, let's say, like short form content, think like TikTok, think things like that, a very common feature of short form video is having captions that are stylized while you're talking on there. It's very common. That has now been added. So you now have the ability to add what they're calling stylized captions. So whatever you're saying, it'll show up and it will highlight the words as it goes. And don't forget, they also added the feature last month that you can now do vertical as well as horizontal. So you can do like vertical TikTok videos in Vids with the stylized captions. This example just happens to be horizontal, but it works with any of them. So very nice. And then this is it. Last one, final one, I promise. Google Meet. And then we'll move on to show and tell and Q&A. So Google Meet. Okay, so here's the thing. I was pretty excited that Google Forms added this automatic turn off feature. That's amazing. Like it only took, 10 years for them to finally add that. This one, I am more happy about this than just about any update on here, because this was the most frustrating thing. Okay, so Google Meet has finally added the ability to share your device's audio when you are sharing your entire screen. Now, this sounds so basic and so simple. You're like, Eric, why do you care about this? Here's what I mean. Okay, when you share your screen in Google Meet, the only way to share the audio from your computer was to share a tab. You could not share your whole screen. You could only share a tab. Now, I do a lot of trainings and I jump from tab to tab to tab to tab to tab to tab. So I had to constantly keep clicking on the little thing that said, switch the presentation to this new tab again and again and again and again and again, so that I could jump between my tabs and still have audio playing. Every other tool can do this. Zoom has been able to handle this forever. I'm using StreamYard right now. StreamYard handles this perfectly fine. It's like, come on, guys. Every video conferencing tool can do this. Now Google Meet can do it. So when I go into Google Meet now, I can share my entire screen and I can flip the switch to say I want to share my audio, and I don't have to worry. I can jump to any tab. I can, not just any tab, I can jump to different entire Chrome profiles. Maybe I'm using a student profile, then I pull up a teacher profile. As long as it's on the screen, it doesn't matter. The audio comes through. This literally means I just canceled my Zoom subscription. And that's why this one means a lot to me, because it just saved me $20 a month. I was paying for Zoom for this one feature. That was the only reason I was paying for Zoom, was because it handled that. And now I don't have to worry about it. So thank you, Google. You just saved me $20 a month. So I'm really happy about that. All right. Well, let me clean up some tabs. I got way, way, way too much stuff open here. We're going to clean up so much stuff here. Let's just get all of this stuff cleaned up. And at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to move down to show and tell and Q&A. Oh my gosh, we have some questions. I may have to look at those really quick and see what questions have come in, because again, I'm flying solo today, so I have not had a chance to look at these when somebody else was talking. But we're going to do both show and tell and Q&A. So as we get ready to transition into these portions, a couple of quick things. If there's anything I covered under the updates that you had a question on, please, please, please let me know. Drop it in the chat, holler at me, whatever. That's great. And also, if there were upcoming events that still needed added, please get those in. But from here on out, we're going to spend our last half hour-ish on show and tell and Q&A. On show and tell, you can please feel free to add your own items to the community show and tell if there's anything cool you'd like to share. Having said that, this is normally where Melissa or John or Sarah or Stephanie would share their stuff. Since they're not with me here today, I can quickly shout out that Stephanie has a great group you can join, and Sarah has a great newsletter you can sign up for. As far as my stuff, please do not be intimidated. I am not going through all of these things. I'm just going to say, for my show and tell, I'll remind you that every week I do EdTech Links of the Week. The easiest way to stay on the loop with those is just sign up for my newsletter. I put them in my newsletter, and that's the easiest way. But then later on, I also post them to my site so you can see what I've shared recently. I always share like what I put new on the site, but then I'll share like 2 or 3 really cool things I've come across recently. So do check those out. The next thing, though, that I do want to mention very quickly is that the EduGems site continues to grow. So it's been a month and a half since our last meeting. So that's why there's so many, but I've added all of those gems in the last month and a half to the site. We're just around, I think, around 90 gems now. So if you pop on over to EduGems, that's where, of course, you'll see all of the gems. I'll typically leave about 12, 16, 20 of the most recent ones at the top for our newest gems, but then everything also gets nicely organized down here in the different categories. Eventually, I'm probably going to update the categories because I'm just getting way too many gems now. So be aware, I'll probably redistribute things and add some new categories to clean it up a little bit. But when you get time, check them out. There's just so many new gems here. You know, there's a bunch of ACT gems. The ones that are called practice, that's for students to practice. The ones that are called generator, that's for you to generate ACT style questions based on your class content. But I've got Creating alternate assessments if you need, like, retakes or makeups or differentiated ones. Bell ringers by date. An interactive choose your own adventure story gem. How about this one? An edu gem to make edu gems. Do you want to make your own edu gem? Yeah. this one, you tell it what you want, and it uses all 80 plus of my existing gems to pattern off of, and it will build you your own edu gem. Here's an ELL conversation gem where somebody who's learning English can talk with the AI, and it will help them practice their English in a natural conversation. Here's my graphic novel maker. We'll talk more about that later. Historical what if. Here's a new one on creating SMART goals for IEPs and 504s. Here's one to break down big projects into manageable steps for students, so to help support them. A reader's theater one that makes the script. Restorative justice circle. Slideshow maker. Superhero image maker for staff pictures. Story co-writer for students to write a story in conjunction with the AI, or just story writer to have the AI write a story for your students. Video prompt generator, vocabulary list generator, tiered vocabulary. And this is similar to the ELL, but it's world language. If you want to learn French, Spanish, whatever, this is to have a conversation with the AI while you're learning a world language. All of these are pretty cool. The one I am going to mention really quick, though, it is just one of my favorite ones recently. I've just been having so much fun with it. It's the one called Bell Ringer by Date. So I'm going to pop that one up real quick. It's actually just, if you go over here, you'll see it, Bell Ringer by Date. So this one, Anna Hanrahan, she's with Trafera. I saw her at the FETC conference, and she was sharing with me how she did a very similar idea. So this is completely with inspiration from Anna. Absolutely. Total props to her. She told me, hey, here's what I do. I made a gym that does blah, 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 blah. Now, this is my take on it, but it's totally with inspiration from Anna. But basically, here's the idea. What this does is it allows you to say what date you want your bell ringer for, what class you teach, what subjects you teach, and what grades you teach. And then it comes up with a bell ringer that ties into that date and supports your content. And that bell ringer includes different pieces. So there's going to be like a headline, a hook, a spark, and a quote. And that's to draw the kids in. But this is the part that's really cool. It then offers to generate a slide for you, a 16:9 image that you could put up on the screen when the kids are coming in. So I'm going to just show this one to you really quick. I just think it is such a slick one. I really like this one. So if I pop into here and I say, hey, and I'll put this one on thinking for the moment, and I'll go ahead and drop that in there, give that a moment, and it will pop up here. Give it a moment to welcome me here. It's thinking, there we go. Hey, I'm here to help you with the daily bell ringer. I need to know the following things. So let's say we pick today's date. So, well, no, we'll pick tomorrow. Let's say we're going to make a bell ringer for tomorrow. So we'll say January 30th of 2026 is the date. So I want a bell ringer for tomorrow. What's my location? Why does that matter? Just in case when it's trying to find something to connect the date to, maybe there's a local historical event that took place in your area. Maybe there's somebody famous who was born in your area. That's all that is. Grade level. Oh, I don't know. Let's say it's, grade 5. So we'll say 5th grade. Subject, maybe I teach science, and anything else I could add in, but let's just say that's fine. Okay. So what it's going to do is it's going to think through, and it's going to come up with a suggestion for what would be a fun bell ringer for 5th grade science that ties into January 30th if we're living here in Ohio. So it's going to generate, give it a moment here, it's going to generate its suggestion for us. So it says, okay, well, I think we could focus on Orville Wright because today is the anniversary of his passing. Oh, okay. Didn't know that. Okay. So that could be what we're connecting to. So the headline is Ohio's aviation pioneers. The hook is, did you know that they came from Ohio? Today, we remember Orville Wright because, he passed on this date. Here's the spark. Here's the question. The spark is like, typically that's like a journal prompt or a discussion prompt or a math problem to solve, something like that. And then there's the quote. Now, if all of that looks good, then I can say, yeah, make the image for me. If not, I can say, you know what? Let's try a different thing other than the Wright brothers. And it will say, okay, here's another one. So I can say, I didn't care for that one, whatever. But if I do like it, it says, be sure to switch the model to Pro, because we do need to use Pro to get Nano Banana Pro. So it says switch to Pro for best image results. And I'll say something like, yes, please make the image. And so now, assuming that I liked what it came up with, it will now make the image, the slide type image that I can just have sitting on the screen when the kids come into class. And every day I can have a new bell ringer, and it's going to be specific to that date and my class. And it's really, attractive and stuff like that. So let's see how this one turns out here. And here we go. So there it is. There's my bell ringer. And of course I can download this, as, a full-size image. It's got the hook, it's got the spark, it's got the quote. And so as the kids come in, that daily bell ringer is just waiting for them each day. So I really like that one. I really had a lot of fun with it. All right. So those are the new Edu Gems. Then I have had several new posts. I'll just mention a couple of them quickly here. For the sake of time, I'll try to keep this brief. One of the most recent posts I just had was one about exporting math from Gemini to Docs. Now, I don't know if you have any connection with mathematics, so this may not apply to you, but if you support your teachers, you are going to definitely have math teachers that need to know about this. Okay, so what's going on here? What is this all about? So here's the video. And again, this is the video that I made with Google Vids. So I did use Google Vids for this video. So what is this all about? So here's the idea. Let's say that I have a conversation with Gemini here where I asked it to make some math content. So here you've got some radicals and roots, quadratic formula. Here we've got some integrals, we've got limits, matrices, and so forth. Gemini does really well at creating math content. It's great. It really does really good math content. Now, again, make sure you're using Pro, because Pro understands math way better than thinking or fast. But the point is, a teacher can make a really nice worksheet, study guide, quiz, instructional material, whatever. A math teacher can generate really nice mathematical content for their students. The problem is getting it from Gemini into something they can then give to their kids, like a Google Doc. If I come down here and I copy this and paste it into a document, or if I come here and I say export it to a document, either way, it doesn't matter. Things break down very quickly. So basically, when you put it into a document, this is what you get. You don't get the images. You get what is called LaTeX formatted coding. This is a special format that is used by universities and scientific journals and whatever to represent math. But that's the code that makes the math. That code makes this math here. The problem is Google Docs doesn't know how to render it. At the moment, Google has not yet built LaTeX rendering into Google Docs. So I've been getting email after email for the last several months of math teachers going, what do I do? So I finally got some time to try it out and figure out how to solve it. You can watch the video, share this video. Very, very, very quickly, this is the solution. There is a completely free and easy to use add-on called Auto LaTeX Equations. It is so super simple. You just install the add-on, you open it up. It looks for anywhere that there's double dollar signs, because that's the code that this is supposed to be LaTeX math. You simply click Render Equations, and it just does it. It goes through and it finds all the double dollar signs and it turns it back into the appropriate math images that it's supposed to have. And so give that a moment, and there we go. And see, now it is converting those into the math images that we needed there. Now, there's a little bit more to it than that, but the 10-minute video covers all of it. So check that out if you're curious about that. All right. Oh, I did see a question pop up. Krista said, could you have the gym do an entire month's of bell ringers at once in one slide deck? I have not tried that. I would be curious. You certainly could see if it's willing to do it as a slide deck. I'm generating them as an image, so it will only make one image at a time with Nano Banana. So that's why I was doing it that way. Hey, try it out. It would be worth poking a stick at and seeing if maybe you could do it as a slide deck instead. But nevertheless, you can definitely do one day at a time. And of course, you don't have to put the year in. You could leave off 2026 and just say it's January 30th, and then you could use it, again next year and the year after and stuff like that if you liked it. All right. We already talked about the BETT updates. Quick, I did do a webinar about learning Genie. If you want to learn about them, this is a 1-hour webinar. It's a tool that has a very robust free version for generating entire complete teaching units. They do a really nice job. So check them out if you want to check that out. Oh, here's another quick update. I did put together a notebook that has my full collection of AI policies, guidelines, and frameworks. So over the last couple of years, I've been trying my best to collect anytime somebody would share a high quality AI policy or an AI guidebook or an AI framework for schools. And there's a lot of different schools, or excuse me, a lot of different states have done this. In Ohio, we have our own AI guidance book. And many states have done that. Also, a lot of school districts have done this. Also, a bunch of organizations like Teach AI have done this. And so I have a big collection of these AI policies and guidebooks and things like that. Well, I decided to put them all together into a single notebook and make it publicly available so anybody can access it. So all you do is come here and you click on the link that takes you into my notebook, and you'll see I have 49 sources. And so here are all of these policies and guidebooks, Alabama, Alaska, California, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, Louisiana. But there's others like MIT is in here. And, there's some that are, a Teach AI is in here, things like that. But basically what you can do is you can now have a conversation and you can ask any question you want of all 49 of these. So if your school district is trying to work on developing your AI policies or adjusting them, updating them, maybe you're trying to write a guidebook to go along with your policies. Maybe you're trying to write a policy specific for a grade level or something. You can come here and just have a conversation. Say like, hey, what do these documents say about AI and cheating? What do these documents say about AI and data privacy? Or, create a sample policy that would be appropriate for, K through 2 or something. And it's going to pull from all 49 of these and generate that content for you. So you can have that conversation there. I also have pre-generated in the studio some things like AI and data privacy, AI and inaccuracies, AI and academic integrity. I've also got an infographic. I've got I think I did a slideshow. Maybe I didn't do a slideshow. I got an infographic. I've got a mind map. I've got an audio overview. So have at it. If you want to, throw a question at 49 of the best AI policies and guidebooks out there, this is a great way to do that. Now, if you say, well, Eric, that's great, but I'd like to build my own, sure thing. I think I put in if you just scroll down, I think I put it in here. Yep, there it is. Here is a Google Drive folder with all 49 of those. At the bottom, you can just go grab them. Here's all the ones by organization. So there's the organizations. And then here's the ones by schools. There weren't a whole lot of those. But then here's the ones by state. And here's all of those. So you are absolutely welcome to download any of those, put them in your own notebook and have at it. So anyway, just wanted you to be aware that that was out there. And then the final thing that I put out is probably what I've had more fun with than anything I have done in such a long time. This just, oh my gosh, I had so much fun with this, making graphic novels with Gemini and NotebookLM. I'm not going to take a lot of time to go into all the gory details about this right now because we got other stuff we've got to wrap up with, but I just want to get this on your radar. This came from an email. Somebody dropped me an email, and I apologize, I don't remember who it was, but see, seriously, so many of the funnest things I've done come because people ask questions. So please keep doing that. Drop me emails, ask me questions. Somebody sent me an email saying, hey, Eric, we want to make graphic novels with AI and we cannot figure out a good way to do that. And so they said, what's an option? I'm like, I don't know. And I was about ready to write back saying, oh, I really don't know. Probably have to pay for something. And then I just paused for a second. Well, wait a second. Think about this for a moment. Think about NotebookLM. NotebookLM recently added the get my studio back up. Oh, nope, I pulled up the wrong one. Sorry, I grabbed that. Sorry, there we go. There we go. NotebookLM recently added in the studio section, they added the slide deck tool where you can go in and you can build a slide deck. And one of the things that was unique about the slide deck is it's not a Google slide deck. It is actually a slide deck made of individual images. Each slide is an entire image, and the whole thing can be downloaded as a PDF. So it's not a Google slideshow, it's a image slideshow where it's full slide images. And I thought, well, that could be a graphic novel. What if we use the slide deck thing and had each slide be a page of the graphic novel? Because it's just an image, and that's what graphic novels are. So that's the rabbit hole I went down. And so basically, I came up with a solution to do this, and I ended up making 25 graphic novels to try it out. So I have graphic novels on everything. Here's one on, national parks, and here's one on William Wordsworth's poem, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. Here's one on Jane Goodall's life and Lewis Latimer's life, Paul Bunyan, Percy Julian, the inventor of Lego, Robert Goddard, one on the axolotls, the Boston Tea Party, the Silk Road. You get the idea, on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And you can click on any one of these and just read them. So for example, I think this one is so good, that the chlorophyll factory, I love this one. If you pop this one open, I'll zoom in on it so you can see it a little bit better. It teaches about photosynthesis, but in such a neat way. So what's going on inside of this, leaf? So, deep within the green heart of the maple tree, the day shift begins. Welcome to the chlorophyll factory, Okay, so first we need the water to come in. So they're explaining about how the water is coming up through the roots. Then we need to add the sunlight into that. Okay, we're starting to do that. Now, okay, have this light dependent reaction and it's splitting it. Oh, we got oxygen as a byproduct. We better get rid of that, Well, now let's send this over here and charge up our batteries. That's the Calvin cycle, and now we're inputting carbon dioxide. We're grabbing that. And now here's the Calvin cycle going on. And we're making, there we go. We made sugar. Awesome. And it's teaching the entire process of photosynthesis in such an engaging way. And that was done with NotebookLM making a graphic novel. Now, how do you do these? Well, basically, that's what the bottom of the post explains. And it talks you through the whole process. Basically, what you do is you got to pick a topic. And here's a bunch of ideas for topics. Then you got to pick an art style. Here's a doc with dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of art styles. Find an art style you like. And then you need to write the script. Now, you can have your students literally write the script themselves. I made a template. They can copy the template. They can write the script. Or you can use my graphic novel script, Gem, to write the script for you. It is a very, very specific, structured type of a script that we need to create for this. So on my EduGem site, I do have my graphic novel creator. It's right there. You click there and you have a conversation. When it's all done, it generates the properly formatted, properly structured script to match the graphic novel you want to make. You then go export that to a document. You go to NotebookLM, you add it from your drive, and then you simply say, I want to make a slide deck. You choose the default length, have it be a detailed deck, and all you really have to put in is retell the story as a graphic novel. You can add in the art style again in the grade level, but it should pick it up from the script. But at the bare minimum, retell the story as a graphic novel. It takes the script, and then it goes boop, and it makes a graphic novel. And that's it. And then you can download it. It's amazing. It's so awesome. So if you have not tried it yet, please dive in, take it for a spin. People have been so kind to share graphic novels they've been creating. I get emails all the time, or people on social media sharing what they've created. It has been really neat. Shannon's saying, super cool. I agree, Shannon. I have had more fun with this than just about anything. All right. Well, that brings us to Q&A, and we do have a few Qs. I don't know if I can give any A's quick enough, but let's take a quick look at what we got here. So in Q&A, first, we still aren't letting our students access Gemini or GEMS because Securely isn't able to block and alert admin and IT about student searches. I'm just wondering how other schools deal with this. Thanks. So yeah, please, if anybody has a response, I would encourage you now in the future, if you're watching the recording, drop your response in there, please, to let them know what have you been doing. I do ask this question a lot when I do trainings. I'll say, hey, who has turned on Gemini for their students? And it's always just a mixed bag. I'll get schools saying, oh yeah, we got it on K-12. I have schools saying, oh no, we have not turned it on. I've got schools saying, okay, we turned it on for the high school. We turned it on for the middle school, whatever. Ultimately, I think the goal should be to get Gemini turned on for our students eventually. It is a phenomenal tool for them that has built-in data privacy protection. It's got, some good filters already built into it, and they need to learn to use the tools. They need to learn how to use these tools and use them appropriately and so forth. But I totally get it if a school's not ready to do that yet. I totally get that. I think Google could beef up the monitoring and reporting quite a bit. I hope they do. That would be fantastic. I think that would help encourage a lot of schools to open it up more. But yes, please share your response if you are a school that can comment on that. Next. Have you heard that putting the prompt wording into Gemini twice gets you more accurate responses? Is it due to how it scans the requests or its processing? I have not heard that one. No. I mean, I'm not surprised. Anything is possible when it comes to getting the best out of a prompt, out of an AI from a prompt. Yes, there literally are fun little tricks you can do that will get a better response out. I've never heard putting the prompt in twice, but I'm not surprised. It certainly could work. Heads up, I do a session about prompting. It is bit.ly/Kurtz-AI prompt. Let me pull that up, AI prompt. If I could spell AI prompt, that would be the place to begin. So this is the one that I do on prompt engineering. So I'll copy that link and I'll drop that in there just as a reference, Eric's prompt resources. So that's it. That link will get you to this document. Inside of that document is also the slideshow, but it goes through everything about how to get the best out of your prompting and stuff like that. So, but again, no, I'm not surprised. Yeah. Superhuman. Yeah. I subscribe to that newsletter as well, but I did not see that. I did not see that in there. But no, I really do. I honestly do subscribe to a lot of newsletters. That's one of the ones. But I did miss that. But for example, there are other similar things like, if you go to Gemini and you put in a prompt and then at the end of it, you say, this is incredibly important to me. My job depends on this. I may get fired if I don't get this done correctly. Yeah, they have found out. They've done studies and it does give better results a lot of times. So yeah, there are ways to kind of trick it, ways to kind of emphasize things. And so, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if just putting in the prompt twice, that is possible. Having said that, if you are wanting to learn about prompting, do check out my prompting guide there. I do go into a lot of details there. And I do have, by the way, I've got gems for prompting too. So if you scroll to the bottom of EduGems, I've got one called AI Prompt Architect. This one will have a conversation with you and ask you everything you want your prompt to do, and it will build the prompt for you. And then I've got another one called AI Prompt Doctor. And that's one where you put your current prompt in and it analyzes it and helps you see how you could make it better. And of course, I've also just got the EduGem generator, which is also basically creating prompts too. So those are available. All right. Next, I posted a question in the GE group concerning NotebookLM sharing settings. Has anyone had time to think about my question? I can paste it here too. I am so sorry. I have not seen it yet, so I do not know what the question was, but I'm going to look on a different screen because I can pull up my email and I can see what the question was. Maybe I'm looking. I'm trying to see if I can find that particular GEG Ohio one. And I don't see it at the moment. I'm sorry. I'm probably just missing it here. Let me go down. Let me scroll here. Oh, there it is. I found it. Okay. So the question was, I've tried everything to help one of my teachers who's trying to share a notebook created with this class, no matter what settings or permission we have selected. Our students are able to access the notebook. Hold on a second. No matter what setting or permission we have selected, it sounds like our students are not able to access the notebook. When the students click it in their Google Classroom assignment, it acts as if it's opening it, and then they receive the message, you must request access to this document. They're given the option to select access as viewer or editor. So I apologize. I did not see that question come up. Oh, that was only 2 hours ago. So I guess I'll give myself a little leeway on that one, but I will take a look at it and see. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know right off the top of my head. I'll have to poke a stick at it and see. I'm curious if anybody else. The only thing I can say for sure is the students have to have NotebookLM turned on. And again, I'm assuming you've already checked all those things, but yes, the students have to have access to NotebookLM for you to share a notebook with them and have them use it. I mean, you can share it. They can click on it. They're not going to be able to use it if you haven't allowed them access to NotebookLM. So they have to have NotebookLM enabled for them. Other than that, though, I'm not sure. So I apologize. I will absolutely be happy to poke a stick at that if I can and see if I can help you along with it. But at the moment, yeah, so students are able to get to NotebookLM, create their own. Nope, so it's not that at all. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know off the top of my head, but maybe somebody who's listening has also wrestled with this, and you can guide us along in this between all of the people who are involved in this group. Hopefully somebody can assist us with this. All right. Last one. This isn't specifically Google related, but has anybody use vibe coding to make Kagan style timer spinners, etc.? So I have not done that. I've done a lot of vibe coding. I absolutely love it. And Google is great for vibe coding. It does a really, really good job with that. Having said that, I do know that there's a lot of people that are doing some really cool things with vibe coding. Let me at least do this. Let me give you a couple of links. I'm going to see if I can grab these fast enough. I'm looking on another tab because that's where, give me just a second. Let's see if I can find this. I'm pulling up my bookmarks from another tab that I have here. Let me see if I can find this. So Tony Vincent, I love Tony Vincent. He recently had shared some really great vibe coding things. I'm just trying to find them quick enough. Okay, here's one of them. I think this might be one of the ones I was looking for. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to drop in a couple of people that have been doing some things. So like here's one, the gentleman, Michael Davola. I hope I'm saying Michael's name right. He's been, whoop, it just disappeared. Hold on. There it is. There we go. Okay. So Michael Davola, he's been doing some really neat vibe coding with things that are very educationally related. So that one is a good example. And then let me see if I can find Tony's collection. Hang on a second. Let me get to Tony's real quick here. His website is Learning in Hand. So if I can pull that up fast enough, I can give you Tony's collection here. Oh, Tony, where's your vibe coding at? Am I going to be able to find it quick enough? Probably not. Shoot. I can add it in later if I have to, but I really would like to be able to give it to you guys right now. Oh, here's, I found it. I found it. Yay. And here's Tony's. It's his learninginhand.com/apps. So both Tony, now Tony's so he would be a great one to reach out to as well. He's been doing a lot of really neat things with vibe coding. So those would be a couple of people to get on your radar. All right. Getting the Gemini icon to show up in my Chrome like yours at the top. Is this an admin controlled setting? I'm not seeing it. Good question. I've seen the same problem. I hear schools saying that again and again and again and again and again. For whatever reason, Gemini in Chrome has not made its way to all school accounts yet, and I don't know why. I do need to look into that as well. I have heard that same thing. I'm on an education account here, but I've heard schools say, no, listen, is there a setting? Is there, so I don't know. This is one I really do need to look into. You are not the first person to ask that. You're probably the 20th person I've heard ask that. So I'm not sure what the answer is, but you're not alone in that. There must be some setting that's getting missed somewhere, or else I don't know why it wouldn't have rolled out yet. So yeah. Somebody said they don't have it either. Yep. Absolutely. I don't know. I'm not sure why. All right. Well, folks, at this point, we are within 2 minutes of 2 hours. And so we're going to stop there. We're going to wrap this up now. We try to never go beyond 2 hours if we can. So as we wrap this up, a couple of quick little final words. First of all, if you have not signed in for the meeting, please remember to go to the Important Links tab and use the sign-in form there to sign in for the meeting. If you haven't joined the group, join the GEG Ohio group so you can stay plugged in between. Hopefully, we'll see you at some upcoming events. And then definitely try out some of the things that we've shared in show and tell and the new updates, explore those. And if you do have answers to these questions, please chime in. People would really benefit from your help and support on some of these questions. I believe our next meeting is supposed to be in February, but hold on, let me check. It's possible that it's not. Always double check before the meeting because sometimes things conflict. We have it tentatively scheduled for February 26th. Let me look. Is that? Nope, I don't think that's when it's going to be. So be aware, there's a really good chance it's not going to be the 26th. I think I'm going to have to move it to the 24th. So I am actually traveling that day. So this will probably be, heads up, that'll probably be the 24th. So it'll be a little bit earlier than normal, but just wanted to make you aware of that. So I will correct that. Well, folks, as always, thank you so much. Thanks for taking 2 hours out of your day. Or if you watch this on recording and you put it on double speed, thanks for taking an hour out of your day or whatever the case might be. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it. Look forward to learning with you guys next month. Stay warm if you can. It's really still pretty chilly here in Ohio, but it was a wonderful time getting to hang out with you guys all today. So everybody take care and see you at OETC, see you at other conferences. See you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.